So guys, greetings, wherever you are in the world today. I wish you the best. Interesting day here today. It's a little rainy. It's been very cold and rainy where I am. I'm in the Northeast. I have no idea where you guys are going to be tuning in from once I drop this video, but greetings wherever you are. Welcome to the channel. Before I dive in, the topic for today is how to handle narcissistic abuse like a boss. Yeah? So that's the title. I'm going to give you guys a few tips and tricks that I use and how it has helped me, and maybe you guys could take a couple of things for yourselves. Maybe you want to help the community out and drop a couple hints in the chat as to what you guys do and how that's working out for you as well, because we're all on this journey at different times, and definitely I think the mission here is to really help each other out, yeah, with combating this evil force that's out there. Anyways, having said all of that, again, thank you very much for joining the channel. So I made some notes here about this topic. I don't know if I'll stick with this format in terms of making notes and things, but I did jot down some notes, and I'll say some things that some of you may not agree with, some of you will agree with. You know how the internet is. Everyone has their own opinions. Yeah. So, without any further ado, here we go. So the first step is to really, I just had lunch. I think I've got some chicken left in my teeth from my chicken sandwich. Normally don't eat during the daytime. I fast during the daytime, but today I ran and I worked out, so I think I'm just a little bit hungrier than usual. So I didn't even bother to fast all day today. I only fasted from the time I got up, which is like 5 a.m. But anyways, the first step, right? The first step to dealing with these people is to commit to your healing journey. Now, a lot of us, it's going to be different, right? Some people, it'll take years. Some people never heal from this deadly abuse, right? But if you have stumbled on this channel or any other channel, there's resources out there. There are people who are doing some good work. Narc Survivor. You can start out. A good starting place is Dr. Ramani, her channel. And there are many more individuals out there who are doing significant work. Sam Vaknin, Professor Sam, his channel has really enlightened me with a lot of things as well. But there's resources, and there are people who you can speak to one-on-one, myself included. We can jump on a call and I could give you some help, give you some tips and pointers how to deal with this. I've been through several different narcissists in my lifetime, right? So the first step is your healing journey. That's number one, guys. Number one. You cannot do this alone. You cannot do it. You cannot heal yourself by being in proximity to the narcissist, right? Because what they'll do is they'll reel you back in. Trust me, anytime a narcissist is being nice to you, it's basically them trying to get you back in to abuse you further. You understand? You got to understand this, right? So, so that's number one. So how do you heal yourself? You have to provide yourself with some distance away from this person. When I say distance, I know some of us have children. You cannot always go into to distance yourself physically, but definitely emotionally, mentally, you can distance yourself. If you don't believe me, speak to some Holocaust survivors, how they got through the Holocaust, right? You have the ability to do that. You've got to, it's not easy, I get it, but you have to distance yourself mentally. I think someone once said, I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt, who said, it's not that which they do to you, but your response to what they do to you that affects you the most, right? It's not what they say to you, it's your interpretation of what they say to you that affects you the most, right? So that's what I mean by distance, right? It's not just physical. Physical is the number one. That's, if you could do that, that's fantastic. But not everyone can afford to do that financially or otherwise. Physically, they can't just get up and leave, right? So part of that is getting to a point where you'll know you're healed when nothing that the narc does to you affects you. As one when it doesn't bother you one way or the other. You just look at them like, look at this fool over here. Look at this Muppet. They're Muppets, man. So when you start viewing them like that, like they're a joke, that's when you know you're well on your way to being healed, and they can't affect you, right? So that's the whole idea of that, right? So that's number one. When people say they only use you for supply, I think that's when my healing journey really started, right? Is when I realized that that's the whole essence of it. They don't really, they don't view you like you view them. They got with you simply because they wanted you to provide them with supply. The only way they get good, consistent, effective, that's the key word. Efficient is another word. Supply from you is by devaluing you. Understand? They don't get supply, efficient, fulfilling, gratifying, effective supply from you by positive affirmations. When you're over there tap dancing for the narc and trying to build them up, they're not getting good supply from you by doing that. They only get good supply from you when they're putting you down, when they're devaluing you, when they're affecting your life, when they're affecting your livelihood, when they're affecting your thoughts, when they're affecting your emotions. That's when they feel powerful. That's when they feel emboldened. That's when they feel confident. That's when they feel supreme, right? That's when the narcissism is at its highest point, right? That's their objective. That's what they want. Number 2 on this list, right, is to just do that. It's to master the art of indifference, right? You just need to have abject indifference to these people, right? Where it gets to a point where you don't even care if whatever they do, it has no effect on you. Listen, I'm at the point where if they say something to me, I know it's just to get a response. And I don't mean that literally all the time, but I know now that if anything they do is to get something from you, right? It's nothing enlightening is going to come out of it. So when you get to the point where you're completely, sorry, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. You're completely indifferent to whatever they do. That's when you're well on your way to your healing journey. So how do you get to that point? The narcissist, when they put you down or devalue you or insult you or do any of these tactics, they could repeatedly make comments to you, underhanded comments, trespass on you, mentally, physically, emotionally, demean you, degrade you. Whenever they do any of that stuff, right, you need to understand that they're hoping to get a response out of you. And narcissists, they do not like when you give them the alternative response, right? They've had years in this relationships are months to where they figured you out, and they've really programmed you to respond in a certain way to certain triggers, and that's what they enjoy. When you see that narcissist has a little smirk on their face, right? A little smug smile after they do something, they're playing a game with you. They feel like they've just won. They feel like they've just conquered you emotionally. Oh, look what I got him to do. Look what I just got her to do. She's upset. She's going to be upset all day. I'm in her head. That's how they think, right? So that's what they're hoping to do. So once you get to a point where you don't give them that response, where, you know, whatever they do, they go to the school with your kids and they tell the teachers lies about you. It doesn't bother you, right? You know, there are ways to handle this stuff. Just say, listen, I'm dealing with, this is what I deal with every day. You know, just you just tell people that, oh, well, you know, this is what I'm dealing with. You know, and most people with common sense will look at you and they say, "Oh, okay, I got you. Hey, listen, we're all in it together." You gotta laugh at these narcs, man. You can't just, you know, you can't just take it on the chin sometimes. Sometimes you got to give it back a little bit, right? Oh man. But that makes them upset if you don't give them the response they're looking for. So if they try to trigger you and you don't give them the response, oh my God, that is one of the toughest things that they can deal with. They can't handle it when they see they cannot affect you, right? It puts them into a mental spin. Their minds, just like they've programmed you to fall for their triggers, they program themselves to anticipate what you're going to do. So when you don't do what they are anticipating that you're going to do, it puts them into a mental spin. They start doing mental gymnastics. They become obsessed with you mentally. They have to think of other ways to affect that response from you, and so on and so forth. And it keeps them up at night. They're thinking about this. You know, especially if you're a great source of supply for them, they will spend every waking hour trying to figure out. That's when you'll see like a lot of Hoovers come in. And I mean, this is when you're not even in, this is when you're just not giving them the response they want. They will constantly try to elicit a response. They'll send you a text. They'll involve other people. They'll involve kids' activities. They'll involve different things. If you're at work, they will send you an email. They will start meetings. You know, if you say you don't want to be around them, they'll book meetings. They'll try to schedule you know, if you share the office, they want to schedule the office right when you're coming in, right when you're going out. They'll create scenarios where you have to meet with them in HR. And these are the things that they do, okay? So this is what they will do. And then when you see this happening, just because you're not responding to them, this is a good part. This is when you know you're healthy, you know? You're like, you sit back and you just look at them. So look at this duck. Look at this. Look at this silly goose, you know? They're just flapping their wings and their beaks and that's it, you know? So you know you're working your program and you're getting healthy when they can't trigger you, right? The third thing is what everyone says. This should really be number one, but I think there's some steps before you get to this, right? So the third step is to go no contact. When I say no contact, like I said, the ideal thing is to block them on everything. You never speak to them. You never talk to them. If you see them across the street, you cross the street. Or if you're on the same side, you cross the street. Never engage this person. Never let them hear a word out of your mouth towards them again, right? That would be so devastating for them. You guys, until you really understand who they are, right? You don't understand what that does to them, okay? That is like turning the light switch off, if you get my drift, right? The narcissists believe they own you, right? They possess you, right? And sometimes you do feel possessed by a demon, you know, but that's who they are, you know. So when you completely cut them off, no contact, it's a death blow. It's a death sentence. Can be, right? But we're not going to talk about no contact and its effects on people. That's another topic for a different video. But for this video, I'm saying go no contact. So let's talk about going no contact mentally, because sometimes you cannot, if you live in the same house with a narcissist, you don't want to go no contact, right? Especially if they are a violent narcissist, if they're a cluster B code, if they have a comorbid disorder, meaning they're a narcissist and maybe an antisocial or narcissist borderline. You know, these people can be dangerous. They can do things to really disrupt your life and your health. So if you're living with them, I would caution you about going no contact when you're living with them. This is better off when you're not living with them, because they can get violent and they will do things to really upset you and hurt you, right? So mentally, how do you go no contact? How do you distance yourself from a narcissist when you cannot avoid, when it's impossible for you to get away from them physically? Mentally, you have to go no contact. So part of what you can do is you can, part of doing this, I'm just reading the notes here, part of doing this, it has some benefits for you, right? Like I said, it's a death blow to them. The second thing is it immediately puts you back into control, right? If you know how to do this, and I'll tell you how to do it. And it immediately puts the narcissist, if you go no contact mentally and physically, it puts them into a panic mode, right? Instead of you obsessing over them, ruminating over what they did to you, feeling regret, remorse, despondent, fatigue, all of this stuff, the moment you go no contact, they start getting into that zone. They start panicking. They start obsessing over you. They start ruminating about you, right? That's when the Hoovers come, right? And the Hoover is just a symbol that you're doing well. You know, when they knock on the door and they send you a text and they want to talk to you and they're begging you and pleading you, it means that you have defeated them. It means that you're in the driver's seat and you want to stay there. You don't want to get out of that position, right? So the way to do it is to, you know, I call it play a game on them, right? So pretend, you know, just sit back and play the game. You have to be healed when you're doing this, right? You have to be in a good, you got to get some knowledge and you got to understand fully who they are. And you got to really conceptualize that, you know, when the narcissist met you, they've already done this to other people, right? They've already manipulated people since they're little kids. They've already accepted the false self as reality. And so everyone they meet, they're just copying you. They're reflecting back to you who you are from them. And basically, everything you see is fiction. It's a false reality. They don't like you. They're just using you to put you down, devalue you, to make themselves feel good. That's what sustains a narcissist, right? They cannot generate that feeling for themselves. They need somebody else to generate it for them. And they do that by putting you down. They get a sense of ownership, a sense of control, a sense of balance in themselves. So the way to do it is to really just sit back and anticipate what they're going to do, you know? So you say, okay, all right, what is... I told the narc today I'm not going to do something. Let's see what they're going to do today. And like clockwork, here they come. And they're asking you some silly question about why you didn't put the lock on the door for the fence. The dogs are going to go out. Meanwhile, it's impossible to open the gate and the dogs to escape, right? Or why you wrote a check for something when you told them 3 weeks ago that you need to make this payment and you'll be taking the check out. It's just a nonsensical argument that they'll start to elicit a response from you, right? And that's what I'm telling you, to be prepared for this. And you just sit back and you watch, and nothing they say, when you really understand this and start doing it, you realize nothing they say is real, right? Everything they say to get you upset, once you really understand it, it's just meant to trigger you, so they're like looking to see if it's going to put you down. But if you play a game with them and you're like, okay, here we go, let's see what they're coming up with, right? Oh my God, they can't handle it. They can't handle it, right? And so they got to try something else, right? And then, you gotta laugh at them. Like, these are little kids who have no control over themselves, right? So, to reiterate, the last point I'll make is this: the narcissist, through devaluation, is gonna, like I said, so what is devaluation? So it's insults, it's slights, right? They do some things that are so despicable that sometimes it really can wound you. But once you understand they're just doing it for response, then you get it. Oh, look at this clown. They can't survive without me. They're relying on my response to feel good about themselves. I'm not giving it to them. I'm gonna laugh at you. There you go. You laugh at them. You laugh at them, right? Smears, they smear you. So if you have a good relationship with someone or a bad relationship with someone, they use both of them. They'll go and smear you to their friend, smear you to your colleagues, your business partners. So that's why they smear you, right? That's another way of controlling you. It's another way of devaluing you, right? The smear campaign, that's what that's about. It's so they get supply. Look what I did to him. Oh, he's upset because he can't talk to his friend Tony. His friend Tony took my side. Or the neighbor across the nice little old lady that he got along with for 20 years, stopped talking to him. I pulled that off, right? So those are the smears, right? Stalking. If that upsets you, oh my God. Oh, look at the power I have over her. I got her to be scared. I stalked her and I made her see that I drove by her house 3 times today, right? Man or woman, women stalk too. These puppets are out here, man. Women are just doing the same thing as the men, right? You can't make it up. These guys are loony, man. They're nuts, right? But all of it is aimed at destabilizing you, right? And so, to reiterate, just make it a game. Predict what the narc is going to do, and just be prepared for it. And understand that you want to really test the narc, let them tell you they're going to do something and call their bluff, right? Call their bluff. Oh, you're going to go do that? Okay, go do it. You'll see how quickly they just melt. It's just a bluff. They just want a reaction from you. Understand? It's devaluing, right? They're looking to get you upset, right? And then you just laugh at them. Make it a fun game. Enjoy yourself. Every time you see them, say, okay, what's coming? Let's go. Let's see what's going to happen, right? And that's a mindset. That's a mentality you want to have, a winning strategy about dealing with a narc and how to control them and control yourself first, your emotions, and lock in, and how to handle these little mascots that run around like gimmicks in a parade, right? Because that's all they are. They're just gimmicks, right? But that's it. So just to recap, the first step is to heal yourself. Second thing is to master the art of indifference. The third thing is to go no contact. That's mentally and physically if you can, right? And the fourth thing is to just make it a game. Make it a game. Have some fun with it, right? Again, you can only do this if you're really healed. So the first step needs to be focus on healing ourselves. And that's my video, guys. It's a little bit long, this one, but I wanted to get it out there. Do me a favor, if you like the channel, if you like what I'm talking about and you like the message, go ahead and click a like or follow. Go ahead and follow, subscribe, whatever you want to call it. Because if you don't, this might be the last time you and I are going to hang out, okay? It's the last time I'm going to get to see you, all right? Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye.